All right, so I'm test firing my new Mr. Heater 30,000 BTU ventless propane heater, and very impressed with it. Really blows a ton of hot air. But I do recommend either getting the blower. In my case, I'm actually going to use a solar-powered fan that I'm wired into my solar system. So I have free electricity running a very, not even half an amp 12 volt DC fan. But I recommend for most people getting the $35 blower kit that inserts in the back. This is where that blower kit inserts into. So you actually knock that panel out, and then you can see where the pan head screws will go in for the blower kit. So most people should be using that. In my case, I'm not going to use that, but you definitely need something to blow all the hot air because it instantly rises, and you can see behind that it's actually, if you watch it and you have like a window behind, you can see the wavy air. You can also see, in my case, a lot of dust blowing up on the ceiling, cobwebs that I have. So it's showing the amount of hot air that's just being forced up, and I'd rather blow it out that way. Again, I'm just test firing it, but in terms of the regulator and the hose, in my basement, I'm actually going to have it direct piped in. I have a little bit more work to do before I have some black pipe put in, and I'll have these guys, I'll have the propane company come out and actually hook it up. But in terms of hooking it up to a propane tank, you need this double regulator. It allows for better ventilation. This actually has a vent on the bottom of it. Let me see if I can get a quick picture of it. This is the vent on that regulator, and it always has to be facing down. So the place I bought the heater, didn't have these, but I went to Tractor Supply. They had them. It was $40, and then I got the hose. It's really important to use the right Teflon tape. This is the correct Teflon tape. It should look like this, and it's actually pretty thick stuff, and it's meant for plumbing and heating. It's called PTEF, I believe. But you can't use regular Teflon tape. That's what this stuff looks like, and it's much, much thicker. So you have to put a good amount of it on, and make sure that you use some soapy water, check for leaks. On the bottom of the heater, there's actually I used a 90-degree 3/8 by 3/8 fitting. One side was flared. That's what went up into the heater, and the other piece went into the hose. So that's what it looks like in the back. I have to say, for $200 to get a 30,000 BTU ventless heater, I'm using it in my basement. I've got a huge old fieldstone basement. I'll post another video when I have it properly installed and piped in. But to have this type of heat blowing through my basement, rising, of course, but more importantly, protecting my pipes. I have a very, very old home. I find this to be an extremely good value. I highly recommend it. You can set it and go. There's five heat settings. Let me see if I can crank it. That's cranked. It's not a huge noticeable difference in terms of the flame, but there is in the output. And then, it's got a very simple igniter for the pilot, which you can see here. There's the pilot. Pretty good sized pilot. Actually, that's probably the only concern I have. But otherwise, crank it up. There she goes. And you have a tremendous amount of heat and using very little propane. I have LP gas here for my stove and my Rinnai heaters. And like I said, this is to go in the basement to supplement heat into the basement. And, I don't think I'll be using it all winter long. But certainly on the coldest of nights, I can turn the pilot on, set it on 1, let it go, have my fan set up, and we'll be off to the races. So I'll make another video later, but I just wanted to share this video. I highly recommend the heater. I think for the money and being ventless, it's great. There are instructions on the back of the box as far as use of these heaters and number of BTUs they put out pertaining to the amount of square footage in your home. I've got a huge 1770 colonial farmhouse that is super drafty, and you can never get an airtight fit. There's no such thing as negative air pressure in this place. So for me, this was absolutely ideal. Workshops, garages, this is absolutely worth the money. Thanks for watching my video.